Welcome back everybody, it's DestinysJesus here. Today we've got a long-awaited return of the How to Wkey series. You guys really enjoyed the last video on Martyrs, so we're going to be taking a look at BENJYFISHY. Benji has had an insane week. He's been playing really well. He won the solo cash cup in EU. He made grand finals with DreamHack in NA East and EU. He got 6th place on EU. He also did really well in the opens and semis rounds. We've been breaking down his games from there, as well as obviously the cash cup when he won. We're looking at a couple of different things he's doing in terms of piece control, some defensive setups, a couple of different nice blueprint edits, as well as some stair edits that he's doing. His full cash cup strategy, which I think will be really useful for you guys if you want to stick around to watch that, as well as a couple of different tricks you can do with grenades and stinks to finish fights quicker, as well as crash pads. Hope you guys enjoy. This is a really nice trick that you can do on your opponent to get more piece control and kind of mind the game at this point. Benji gets that big tag on from above, and look what his sequence of motions is here. He pressures the wall, but doesn't break it. He waits for the guy's reaction. You see how the guy immediately places that stair? Now Benji goes to break the wall. That will kind of trick the other guy into thinking his wall's been taken, because at this point he can't really see it. And instead, Benji breaks the wall, goes from above, gets that little bit of elevation with a ramp he placed, and then goes to this floor cone snap onto the left-hand side, gets the edit control, and he doesn't do anything too fancy. He just double edits and commits straight in. Server lags a little bit, but he gets straight in. Instead of going for a cone slide or going for a ramp place inside the guy's box, he just commits. He knows he's got the advantage in that fight. He doesn't want to drag the fight on too long. As soon as you have that edit control, you can just commit if you know the guy's low. This is a really nice angle you can do when replacing a wall. What Benji does here is he swings on the wall a couple times to begin with. Then he takes a step backwards, but plays behind his cone so the other guy can't get a counter peek without overexposing himself. Then he goes to replace with his wall, just like so, with his AR. Now he plays from this off angle here, and this is a really nice angle that you can play from when going for this diagonal wall replace. Is he can either be crouch peeking down here, he can be stand peeking here, or he can be standing up, jumping up, shooting from up top here. He peeks once down low, then he peeks up top here, so this guy misses his shot as he's aiming in the wrong spot, and then Benji's able to commit in and win the fight quickly. This is what that cone play looks like from the other guy's perspective. He's basically always hugging behind the cones, so as the other guy's trying to go for an edit control, you can't really see much. The only chance you get seen is in this situation here. And the other guy has to take his time, line up a shot, and then jump up and shoot, and Benji can trade at that point. Or in the time that the guy's going for edit, is just shoot the wall out and take it. In this fight, look how Benji establishes all of his back wall control before he edits the stairs. He gets frame up completely boxed in, and then his is just good movement, good counter strafing, it's very much jumping. If you saw my young count video, you know how important getting extended cones are and how useful they are for finishing fights quick. Here Benji gets a double edit down, try catching the guy off, and look how far he gets this cone reach. From a whole tile away and a whole tile upwards, he gets his diagonal cone off. Then here, as the guy's phasing through the wall, he gets both back walls through the floor, then he heads the floor into an angel versus the guy where he's swinging right, and he has the advantage because he's peeking first. Again, Benji gives that shield damage to start the fight. This gives him the confidence. He does this nice little build chain here to make sure he gets height. Other guy disengages, and then look here. He sees the guy immediately try to pop minis after a 30 tag. That means he's probably 120 max. Benji sprays to cancel the mini and then resets and comes from above. Here he uses the harpoon to get in the box rather than just AR spraying or pickaxing. This kind of offsets the guy's timing, and the harpoon is 150 to build, so you can normally get insta in. Here he replaces, jumps straight in. Gets that tag there as the guy didn't place his ramp in time. And look, he gets the cone and the floor above the guy. This means that he can't go anywhere. Sometimes when you get this happen to players, is to actually get inside the floor. So Benji gets the floor as well, so the guy can't get out at all. He just replaces and charges on his pump and finishes the guy off quickly. Being that confident in grand finals or DreamHack was massive part of his success. He was able to take any fights he wanted mid-game, and he's really found his stride in terms of actually taking his fights and winning them as quick as possible. This is the perfect example of how to peek defensively when somebody's pressuring you and they're in a box directly next to you. Benji fully traps this guy in, gets all of the pieces of control around the guy. And here he's really patient on his angle. He doesn't want to commit into an angle where this guy's playing behind his stair. Gets a nice little trade tag there. Again, he's extremely patient. Look how nice this window peek is to replace it and get the cone control on this guy. He tries a couple different reset shots. The guy's got good movement, so he kind of dodges them. Benji gets the wall, commits to the shot there on the top right triangle. And finally, for this edit here, he moves completely back to the back side of his cone. This allows him a really nice angle where the guy can't immediately see him or get that charge off. And Benji's able to shoot and then strafe again around the cone. He's so nice at playing around cones to get basically free damage on somebody when they overextend into his box. This is common knowledge at this point, but it's still really useful to get in the habit of doing. What Benji does here is he makes a 2-ball out of hard mats. He's able to counter peek. Sets up as soon as this guy swings on his wall, opens a nice wide edit for himself with a right hand peek, cones the guy off, Gets the shot, and he wins the duel against him just because there's that first shot, even versus a high rarity tag. Understanding the timings of when he can actually go for an edit and when he can get a shot off for free is why Benji's so good at defensive fights. In this situation, he waits for the guy perfectly to pull out his pickaxe and waits for the swing to actually be committed. Show that one more time. So as the guy is holding this ramp here, he's holding his edit, and as soon as he pulls that pickaxe out and he actually fully commits to a swing, not a bait swing, then Benji edits. This is an extremely useful defensive setup you can do whenever you're fighting somebody in a mid-game situation. This guy's hiding behind a car that doesn't show up in replays, and he attacks Benji for a lot of damage to begin the fight. Benji gets out here, just barely gets a little bit of damage tag in return, and look what he does immediately. Boxes in a 2-1, and immediately goes for a counter peek here. Then he makes this L-shaped box. This is something we saw in our Wkeying actually video a while ago, where he just spammed these triangle or L-shaped boxes, have 3 boxes next to each other and allowed him to peek from any of the 3 boxes. Benji has so many angles he can play from and work from to get counter peeks in this situation. Here he finally completes like the rest of the box, makes basically a 2x2 to go for peeks. Goes off for height to get some free damage there. And now he's able to reset the fight from his terms, and he takes just a 1v1 against this guy. He knows he has the charge versus attack, so he's just confident in taking his peek, and he wins it. Survives on 1 HP, but it's kind of a worthy peek just because the guy is kind of screwed in that situation. And Benji can't delay the fight at that point, he had very little mats. When tarping endgame, it's always good to be aware that you can blueprint edit from a long distance. Benji blueprint edits that wall from the whole way back here. This guy's completely trapped in, and he's able to right peek him twice and get a free refresh. This is another example showing how strong blueprint editing is during mid-game fights. Here Benji, he preps the wall with the charge, takes it, does a blueprint edit from distance, comes forward and cone slides the other guy. Now he's gonna look at his movement, he swings back to the left so he's able to right hand peek afterwards here. The guy actually had really good movement, he came forward to try to offset that right hand peek so he could hide behind something. Benji realised this, has the left hand wall control, and right hand peeks him straight after. Perfect movement by Benji, really nice blueprint edit. This is a really nice play you can do when you've got somebody underneath your ramp. Benji here, he replaces the ramp, has the guy underneath it. He does this top right triangle as if he's reboxing and gonna make space. So here, the guy now is expecting this counter peek on this window over down on this side. So what Benji does instead is he waits just half a second for the guy to take the wall, looking the other way, and catches him completely off guard. That's helped really nicely just by the fact that he's in brick still, so it's quite hard to see him. Just wanted to take a second to kind of discuss what Benji's strategy is going into a cash cup in case you missed the stream and you kind of want to get a recap of what he does to play so consistently in cash cups. So what Benji does is first game, he makes sure to get a very high kill win. Easiest way to do this is just either to get a really good spot that you're comfortable with or to land at authority, and basically you can just go around cleaning up mid-game fights. Just grapple on somebody who's having a build fight and then clean up both kills and get a lot of kills that way. From there, what Benji does, he actually, in the rest of his games, is he WQs smartly until he has something that he can win the game with, a win condition, right? That win condition would be basically something like multiple crash pads, multiple launch pads, some kind of mythic like Catty launcher or grappler that he finds in a mid-game fight, and that will allow him to win the game or get an extremely high placement that will lead him to success endgame. There's no point really playing out a full game with shambles loot. He's good enough to get in any mid-game fight he actually wants to take, and he normally win it as long as he plays his angles correctly, and he always leads with an advantage, right? He doesn't just jump into a fight, he'll wait for a good opportunity to either third party a build fight, or he'll wait to get a beam on somebody and then play from there. This is a perfect example of Benji's cash cup strategy that he does, basically trying to get movement items through Wkeying and then playing out the game smart. So in this game, he's only got 3 crash pads and very low amount of shields, as well as mats aren't too good. This is good enough loot to play an endgame, but it's probably not good enough loot to win an endgame, right? So what he does instead, first actually headshot on this guy. Now he crash pads over to just end the fight as quick as possible and engages. Gets that shield cracks, that kind of affirms that he wants to commit to this fight. And he actually wastes his movement items trying to kill the guy. So he wastes his crash pads trying to kill him quickly there, just because he knows it's the authority play, right? He's going to have good loot as well. And this is a really nice play you can do. Benji sees him reboxing over this way. See how he gets this cone. And it's like I've talked about a lot, especially with whenever I've already let you for the 3 level series, is spamming up just like so. He gets the cryptos chopped down and he's able to win the fight. And then look at his loadout after he gets that, right? He's got purple tack, which he likes. He's got scar, he's got a pad, and he's got peppers as well. Obviously, winning that fight is quite a difficult challenge just because it's a good player and they've got good loot. But if you win that fight, the advantage going to late game is now extremely good. He doesn't need to take any more fights. He can just play out his mid game passively, get his mats up, get good positioning, and then pop off end game. In this fight, Benji shows the importance of always making sure you get damage before you initiate. This means that the players on the defensive is always playing on the back foot and you have the advantage going into it. Something we saw on a Mitra video that he did a lot was basically just making sure you always had damage back with his Sky Scar and he had a massive HP advantage going into his fight so you can clean them up really quickly. Benji has a nice simple height take, gets height, and look how he throws that grenade, right? He throws that grenade from the top, drops to an off angle from the side, and this allows him a free shot there. And this is where, again, Benji uses a really nice grenade. You see how he gets this back call? Throws a grenade in the back corner there, waits, and look at the piece control he gets. He knows the guy's going to rebox. He knows exactly where the guy's going to rebox to just because he heard him come towards him. Benji gets this floor cone snap from above, commits into the box. Again, no fancy techniques, trying to spam a cone, trying to place a ramp in the box. He just jumps in, gets in the guy's face, and finishes the fight really, really quick. This is something extremely useful you can do with stinks that Benji does here, is he actually uses them as a zoning tool to control the guy's reboxes in a way that he can control and then finish the fight quick. He's only got 3 stinks, so he has to be kind of mindful of them. Here he throws one just to get the guy rebox this way, throws another one on top. Now he knows that because that one on top, he knows he's going to go down. He drops down with the guy, breaks through, gets his wall in front, edits through. Look how he gets these back walls and the floor up top. Really nice piece control. Boxes the guy fully in, he's able to kill him straight away. These 2 fights were played out basically perfectly from Benji's side here. Again, he does this AR take from a distance to the cone. Cone slides, gets the wall here. And then look how he makes the space. He makes the space, waits for this guy to pressure. As soon as this guy comes down and pressures from the ramp on the direct wall, Benji goes up for a height play. This allows him some free damage there. And then look how nice and patient he is at this angle. He makes sure he gets that cone up top there. Gets the cone slide as he breaks the ramp. Really nice movement to quickly right peek. You never want to crouch into a window. He always stands up at the end of his window to get a nice tidy peek in. Here he swings completely to the left. Look how he holds his edit for a second. Swings left again, and then now finally swings right into the peak. Just quickly, this is a nice way that you can find a refresh late game with your AR. What Benji does here is he sees that Nikov is spraying out his side window. He goes from above, out the guy's field of view, then pumps him in the head, and this is a really nice exploit. You can do the ramp where you stand up through it. See here, he stands up, pops to the ramp, and gets some shots off. Reload tricks his AR as he comes through here, and again, he does the ramp break just to keep pressure on the guy and gets the refresh. Benji shows how effective crash pad into a box is here. He gets straight on this guy, gets the wall as he extends out to the side. Then there's a nice open edit, slides a cone, and he aims to jules the guy. Whenever you aim jules somebody on a cone, I noticed he always stands on the midpoint, not at the exact highest point. He stands around the midpoint and then swings left and right, allows him to get really easy shots without taking too much damage in return. This kill shows the importance of being in metal mid-game. This guy's in brick, Benji sees through that he's looking the wrong way, and he exploits through the guy's stare there after crash padding in. Crash pads are so good just for finding a refresh any point during the game, even on moving zones, so you can get into some guy's box straight away if they don't expect it. That's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a couple of new things. I definitely learned a lot just watching Benji's replays and his stream all day. He's so good at using utility to finish fights, as well as a couple of different tricks that you can do in terms of box fights. As always, if you guys can help support the channel, if you like the video, if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, we're really close to 50k, and also comment who you want to see reviewed next as part of this Wkeying series. I'm thinking maybe Reeked from West, because he played absolutely insane in DreamHack. Let me know who you guys want to see.